Hey guys, today I'm going to review two PCs, both from the Sony Vaio line. Sony Vaio makes some pretty interesting PCs, and it's too bad they sold them off now, but they used to make some very nice looking, reliable, and generally good quality PCs, just they were a little bit expensive, so people didn't buy them. This one I'm holding is this called the Sony P series. So this is a computer that Sony made back when netbooks were popular back in 2009. Netbooks were all the craze back then, and Sony decided to make a very unique one. This is a very, very small computer, even for netbook standards. And yeah, they just decided to make this small one and sell it at a high price for a netbook at the time, which was $1,000. No one was going to pay $1,000 for a netbook, right? But this is a very interesting form factor. It's about the size of a pamphlet or a book, a small book. You can probably fit it in your suit jacket pocket, but not your pants pocket. To give you an idea of how small this is my Lenovo ThinkPad. Right, this is how big my Lenovo ThinkPad, which is actually not even that big. This is only a 12-inch notebook. Okay, so even by notebook standards, my Lenovo is not that big. And then there's the Sony P series on top of that, so you can see exactly how small the Sony P series is. This is a 12-inch. And the Sony P series is an 8-inch computer. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at what this has. So this has a normal power adapter, USB port, headphone jack on the side, nothing special there. Down here, there's a wireless switch. And then you have the SD card slot and a Sony, Duo, their memory stick Duo, which is proprietary to their memory sticks. So they have two different slots for that. Probably could have made it into one, but two slots for that. And then power button. On the side here we have a docking station port which can connect to an Ethernet or a VGA. They have a dongle for that and a USB port. Right. So this is the Sony Vaio P series. Runs full Windows Vista when it came out. You can run Windows 7 or 8, I believe. This is what the keyboard looks like. As some of you may not know, Sony was the one who invented the chiclet or island style keyboards, not Apple. So this is Sony's chiclet keyboards are pretty good since they invented them. And this track point nub in the middle, which is to control the mouse. They don't have a touchpad. This is the mouse buttons. You have to use that when you're doing the track point. So some people are not used to this. ThinkPad users will probably be used to it. There's not an extra button for screen rotating here. I believe we're making Windows side by side as well. And then a webcam up here. And yeah, this one runs full Windows 7. So this is the Sony Vaio P series. And this has an Intel Atom processor inside, pretty common for netbooks. And this particular model has 128 gigabyte SSD, which is a lot more than many netbooks out there, which only came with like 16 or 32 gigs of solid state drive or 40 gigabyte hard disk drive. But yeah, that's the Sony Vaio P series. Pretty small, light, portable. Okay, here's another interesting one. This is the Sony Vaio UX micro PC. This came out in 2006, even before the P series came out. And Microsoft was making these computers called UMPCs. They wanted to make these ultra mobile PCs, I guess. This was before smartphones. This was before the iPhone and stuff. So having the idea of like a super portable PC was really a big deal at the time, and not many people can think of like their mobile phones to those days. You know, they only did basic things like make calls and send texts, but they couldn't run a full operating system. Right? There was no iOS or Android back then. So then people made these things called ultra mobile PCs, UMPCs, which kind of packed the power of a small laptop or a ultrabook into a small form factor. And the Sony Vaio UX is probably the most powerful one. It's more powerful than some other ones, the Samsung Q1 or the OQO Model 2. It's pretty good specs as per Sony's usual standards. To go through with this micro PC a bit more, okay. So this is really small. It's a 4.5-inch screen. It's even smaller than the P series, which itself is small. So you can see this, and then comparing it to my, ThinkPad, this thing is really, really small. You can fit it in a pocket. All right. And how this works is this. You can see it's got a fan up here. It's got only a memory stick duo. Unfortunately, they didn't put a multi SD card slot there. This is a capture button for a webcam. I mean, for a camera on the back, and I'll show you later where that is. It's a camera on this thing. This is a nub tracking for in place of a mouse. Zoom in, zoom out. Power button. Down here, AC adapter vent, a docking station port, headphone and microphone jack. Over here, a USB 2.0 port. The battery, which is replaceable. Wireless on and off. This is for context. A context button, right clicking, and scrolling. Yep, so that's that. And on the back there's an antenna. This thing had 3G or Edge, so you can put a SIM card in here somewhere. Movable battery. And yeah, so this thing, cool thing with this PC is that this screen, which has a fingerprint reader and a webcam, by the way, and slides up to reveal a QWERTY keyboard, right? So this is a very interesting keyboard. Again, it's much smaller than any laptop keyboard you can find these days, but it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. On the back, here's where the camera is. It's in here, so you can actually take pictures with this. It's a 1.3 megapixels, so pretty standard for mobile cameras back then, right? Your cell phones all had like 1.3 megapixel back then. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. And this is the docking station that comes with it. The docking station has AV out here, 3 USB 2.0 ports, Ethernet, VGA. That's pretty cool that it comes with the PC. And I actually modified this PC a bit. So it used to run on a hard disk drive, but now I changed the hard disk drive for an SSD now. So I actually don't have an operating system installed at the time, so I just boot it from this USB, which is running DOS. And I'll show you this computer is actually pretty good at running DOS, right? So here's the DOS screen, right? Here's the DOS screen, and this computer is quite capable of playing DOS games, which is amazing. So I love DOS games. Okay, so we can play a DOS game right now. Oops. And keep in mind, a lot of this DOS games, they're not configured properly. Like, they won't have the proper sound because I'm running it from the USB right now. This is nothing's on the actual hard drive. So yeah, this is Commander Keen. Awesome, right? Actually, I think this one could have sound, but from the PC speaker. Yeah, PC speaker. And let's start a new game. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's the sound effect. Oh yeah, this is taking me back to the days of my childhood, playing DOS games, playing Commander Keen. Okay, yep, so there's an example of a DOS game playing on there. Could also run something else. Blake Stone is one of my favorite games, so can run Blake Stone. It's kind of obscure compared to like Doom or Duke Nukem 3D these days. Not many people know this game, but Apogee made a lot of cool games back then. A lot of forgotten good gems back then. Blake Stone, yes, Aliens of Gold. Again, no sound, but when I do install my operating system on this thing's going to be like an awesome portable DOS gaming machine. Yeah. I can play my DOS games on the go. Yeah. Here you go. here we go. Okay, there's no sound effects, but usually all the guys make some hilarious noises when they're shot at or killed. Like this guy will say, "Oh, oh," when he dies, and this guy here will say "Mayday," or like "Die" when he sees you, or something like that. It's really cool. Oh, here's another guy. He's dead. And there's like monsters. Monsters will make some kind of like moan or something like something like that. I don't know. The voice actors for these were amazing. They should be commended for their use of amazing, hilarious sound effects. Oh, when you pick up the health packs and stuff. You know, some of these scientists are not friendly and they'll try to kill you. Okay, yeah, he tried to kill me. Okay, anyways, I'm getting too much into this. Okay, yep, this is it. Yeah, so Sony Vaio UX, pretty cool, pretty interesting PC. Came with Windows XP, so Windows XP runs pretty good on this, so I would recommend that. This only has 1 gig of RAM, and that's not upgradable, unfortunately. You can upgrade the hard drive, which I did, to a SSD, but only to a certain limit because it's only a 1.8-inch PATA ZIF, which are hard to find. And this is a Core Solo processor. Core Solo, which was the one core version of the Core Duo, which is Intel's first dual-core processor, which is based off of Pentium M. So this thing's actually run faster than the Intel Atom on the... It's running faster than the Intel Atom in this notebook, right? Which is interesting, as Intel Atom's a bit newer than the Core Solo. Even though the Core Solo is older, it's more performant. But again, it takes up more heat, so that's why it has all these vents here. But yeah. And this can be, I think the latest version will have like up to a 64 gig SSD and Core 2 Solo, I believe, 1.33 gigahertz or something. That's like the top end model you can get. And these are still going for like 300 bucks on eBay. So yeah, that's it. These are both going for around the same amount, 300 bucks. So Sony Vaio UX, Sony P series, Sony Vaio makes cool PCs, and I wish they were still making them. And that's it. Leave me a comment if you have any questions. Bye.